What's up guys, like all the pencil here, and you know what time it is. The wait is over. Let us recount him, the mighty wielder of sunshine, he who stands above all things, he who wields the prime power of the goddess clan, Escanor, the blazing arrogance. Before we start, do me a quick favor and leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Now, let's get moving. So, I typically start these off by saying how this respective character had their way with a good chunk of the series. Well, to say the least, Escanor had his way with more than a good chunk. As soon as he's introduced, he tricks two commandments into getting drunk, then he defeats them both, one by scaring them into activating their own commandment when they are about to die, and the other by having her literally burn herself alive trying to consume his soul. Afterwards, he almost dies when delivering wine, getting wrapped up in a tournament made by Gloxinian and Droll. However, he gets them back after fighting off Gowther, overwhelming and manipulating Gowther's mental manipulation in his favor in order to drop Charge and Fire, nearly killing Gloxinian and Droll. He is saved, Meliodas dies, and the time for vengeance is upon them. Of course, Escanor does not really care, negates a commandment by his pity for creatures beneath him, and almost kills Estarossa. After a while, it's time for Korand, and then we see Escanor fight Meliodas. For the most part, Escanor gets worked, but with the help of the One and Meliodas' arrogance, Escanor snags the win. Escanor has a quick spat with Ludoshel, and the battle for Britannia begins in earnest. Escanor fights alongside Ludoshel and Merlin, battling it out against Chandler, Cusack, and Zeldris, and Escanor is able to play decent defense at first, but gets overwhelmed by ominous Nebula Zeldris until he enters the One, where he nearly one-shots Zeldris. He is forcefully reverted by Chandler, and needs to go grab Rita to restore his power, and is made to fight the original demon. Then, Escanor loses, and is forced to sit on the backlines and watch his friends fight after sacrificing Sunshine. He protects Gilthunder, Hauser, and Grianmore, gets Sunshine back, and proceeds to fight against the full power Prime Demon King, with help from Bond and King. Then once noon hits, he proceeds to box evenly with the Demon King and the One, and once noon passes, by sacrificing his life force, he transforms into the One Ultimate, and sacrifices everything for his friends, overpowering the Demon King, and once he is defeated, Escanor passes away. Now, honestly, that's Escanor's tale, but what made him so notably strong, disregarding just his raw power? That would be Sunshine, the grace of the supreme deity that he was born with. Sunshine gives Escanor many abilities. The most notable one is Escanor's power continuously rises from sunrise to noon, where he reaches his peak, only to fall back down to his weaker state as the sun lowers. However, that's the basics. Due to his magic, his very presence releases light and heat, and if he decides to not hold it back, he can blind people with the light he releases, and many things around him just melt or turn to ash. His presence can literally burn not just the area, but people to ashes. It's also a hard counter to the effects of eternal or forced darkness if pushed far enough. For his attacks, he has the Cruel Sun, a tiny orb of power in the shape of a sun that he can control the size of. He can also use it as a flying vehicle. He can then detonate this sun with Pride Flare, casually vaporizing entire areas with no problem at all. Then, he has access to Crazy Prominence, where he fires off many Cruel Suns from his body in a wild attack that destroys an entire area. Then, in his the One Ultimate state, he has likely his strongest attack, the Final Prominence, which is a massive burst of flame. He then, with his bare hands in the One state early on, and in his Final Shine state, can use Divine Spear Escanor and Divine Sword Escanor, a poke and a chop respectively. Then, with the sacrifice of his life, he can enter the One Ultimate, where he surpasses even his the One state, being powerful enough to overwhelm beings beyond his initial transformations, such as the Demon King. Sunshine also grants Escanor an immunity to heat, light, and fire manipulation, as he's shown unbothered by his own heat and even levels of the purgatory fire of the Demon Clan from wielders as powerful as Meliodas. His flames are also able to prevent regeneration to a point if he wanted to, as he's shown to burn Izrav, who could regenerate, preventing him from healing properly, and his soul burning Melascula left her in a state where she could not heal through her demonic regeneration and needed external help. However, it is arguable that this may only work on dark healing powers, as Bond is shown regenerating, but that could be due to the fact that Escanor would not want to kill Bond. All his fire and heat is beyond the realms of natural fire as well, completely ignoring Izrav's armor, which is immune to the purgatory flame of the Demon Clan. Escanor also has very strong resistance to mind manipulation, completely ignoring Gowther's attempts to destroy his mind and instead using it to amp himself. He can also resist soul manipulation, since his soul contains the power of Sunshine, meaning that even interacting with it can burn someone alive. And if it ever leaves his body, it'll just return itself if it's messed with or toyed with. He also very likely can resist commandments, since graces provide commandment resistance due to them being blessings from the supreme deity. It's just that his grace was born into him with time. Top this off with Rita, his sacred treasure, which allows him to store his power and heat, allowing him to use Charge and Fire as a massive attack that can destroy massive areas and blind his opponents. Then he has Super Slash, where he swings Rita really hard. That in total is Escanor's abilities. Now, where does he go in the series? Escanor has always truly been a top dog. Relative to the Sins specifically, as early as his introduction, he is the strongest. Meliodas does not show access to assault mode around the time the commandments are introduced, and he does not use it against them. So that means he peaks out at Demon Mark in that time period post-Druid, and Escanor easily surpasses that, fighting and destroying Estarossa, and contesting with assault mode post-Resurrection Meliodas, even though the last one was suppressing himself for a good fight. Even if that post-Druid Meliodas had assault mode, the gap between him and the 1 would likely be too large to clear with the 1's feats. And of course, by fighting assault mode Meliodas at all, fighting against Zeldris, Chandler, Cusack, and the original Demon, and all around his slapping commandments, he scales above all his fellow Sins, from Gother to Bon to post-training King and post-training Diane. When Meliodas resurrects though and achieves his assault mode state, according to what Zeldris has said, and even Escanor himself when referring to the pain he felt, if assault mode Meliodas really wanted to, and he wasn't toying around, even the 1 would have lost to him. This makes Escanor the second strongest Sin around the time of post-resurrection assault mode Meliodas. But then, King and Bon become full Wings King and post-purgatory Bon, making them surpass him as well, which makes Escanor the 4th strongest Sin. At his peak, he also scales above all the commandments, including Zeldris while in the 1, and all the archangels with the exception of Mael, considering that Mael was able to evenly fight Zeldris without the 1 and slap the original demon, while Escanor was getting slapped around by both. However, once he gets Sunshine back after sacrificing it to Mael, he becomes what I like to call Final Shine Escanor. It's an Escanor that has fully accepted the idea that he is going to die, and likely for it has gotten much more powerful. Even without his Sacred Treasure, a weapon known to multiply a Sin's power greatly, he's able to contest with the Demon King alongside Bon and King, who are both wielding their Sacred Treasures. That means with one, he'd likely be drastically stronger than both, and honestly in this state, especially upon reaching the 1, and especially the 1 ultimate, he is likely the second strongest Sin. Considering that even assault mode Meliodas post True Magic was able to keep up with the ultimate 1, and Meliodas' True Magic state scales even higher than the assault mode Meliodas, even with all of Escanor's power, it's unlikely that he surpasses Meliodas specifically. However, even without the 1 and without the 1 ultimate, Escanor dominates all the commandments, all the archangels, and fights on par with, if not being just directly above, King and Bon. Honestly, at the true peak of his real limits in the Ultimate 1, he's only surpassed by True Magic Meliodas, Chaos Arthur, and in terms of just hacks and versatility, Chaos Cath. In terms of raw power for Chaos Cath, it's debatable, considering the facts that we have. Chaos Cath was able to be handled by the Sins, minus Escanor, who would be in the Ultimate 1 state. However, this is plus a mostly powered Chaos Arthur. And it's honestly really weird to scale Chaos Cath, since we don't know what extent Arthur was wielding the power of Chaos, whether it was to the full extent or to a partial extent. We also know he lost some of it to Cath. We don't know how much power Cath was wielding. We have enough interpretations to say that at best for Cath, he should be relative to the Prime Demon King, considering he once again required all the Sins working together in relatively strong states, except Meliodas is the outlier there, because he wasn't even in assault mode or anything when fighting Cath, and they managed to seal him away in time in that one possible alternate future. But it's really, Cath is such a weird person to scale that I'm working on a video for him already, and we're gonna have a long talk about Chaos Cath. So that's really it. However, in terms of raw power and as a character in terms of the series itself, Escanor easily makes the top 10 with very little difficulty, because the only people stronger than him are True Magic Meliodas, Chaos Arthur, Chaos Cath in terms of hacks and versatility, Chaos himself, and that's it. He's even stronger than Supreme Deity and the Demon King in his Ultimate 1 state, considering that he just outpowered the Demon King when he got into that state, the Prime Demon King no less. So even the Supreme Deity and the Demon King himself could not compete with Escanor when he's at his max. Escanor is honestly my favorite character in all of 7 Deadly Sins. He has one of, if not the best introductions, one of the most interesting and amazing powers in the entire series, a many multitude of spectacular fights all throughout it, and he's just fantastic. However, the main reason I like Escanor so much is because of his character. He's a man so powerful, so dangerous, so monstrous that he's ostracized, outcast by his own family, feared by his fellow people, and wielding a power he could not control. He just wanted comrades, friends, a family. And seeing the 7 deadly sins give him that, people give him what he always desired, it's amazing. Seeing how much he cares for people despite his confidence or cowardice, seeing how far he is willing to go for the family he loves so much, seeing him willing to sacrifice his very life for the purpose of protecting his friends and those he loves, it is beautiful. And his death is so perfect, from the build up to the execution to the very end. Escanor is the best of the best, and he really is the ultimate one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed talking about the Scion of the Sun. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off.